Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're back with episode 2 of the Sucka for Love podcast. I'm here with Eddie Cap.
Yo. What's going on, a Sucka for Love audience?
We're back.
We're here.
We're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Oh, do you hear that?
We're back.
Do we have a third here?
Oh,
I hear something. I hear some footsteps.
We have a special guest.
That's what it
A
is.
special guest on episode 2. A special guest on episode 2 already. Is that wild or what?
We bring them quick.
We're quick. We move fast. Our special guest today is none other. My little sister, Emily.
Hi.
Don't be shy. Come on, say hi to the world.
Hi.
Don't be shy. Don't be
Hello,
shy. Don't be
hello.
shy.
Sucka for Love. Emily's here.
Emily is here, and Emily says she's gonna make a statement today.
Still in the meeting.
What meeting?
We working.
What meeting?
We working. That's what we doing right now.
On tonight. Tonight? I said tonight. Yeah, not today. I was gonna say today, but tonight's episode.
Tonight on the West Coast. But if you're in London, it's probably
Here
like
in London or Australia.
3 a.m. If you're listening at 3 a.m. in London,
Is that the time?
Godspeed.
Okay. Shit. Okay. Before this episode begins, just in case, because we don't necessarily know what's gonna be talked about, we do want to give a trigger warning for anyone out there, because tonight's episode is about how should we put relationship trauma? Is that how we're gonna put it? We're gonna narrow it down to relationship trauma. That's how we're gonna put it, guys. Like relationship trauma. Okay. We're gonna talk about relationship trauma tonight. So, you ready for that, Capo?
It's going to be an interesting episode.
Interesting perspective. Eddie Cap.
Are you sure you're ready for that one?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
So
Tempest is ready.
So we just want to give a trigger warning for anyone, depending on what we talked about. We'll talk about past tense shit. I know I'm slipping already. Depending on what we talk about, just want to give a trigger warning to anyone out there. So I do want to ask though, since we're going to talk about trauma in a relationship sense, I want to ask, and anyone can answer first. It doesn't matter who answers first, but is there like a scale to relationship trauma? Do you think? Like, is there like a scale, like an actual scale for relationship trauma?
What do you mean scale?
I'm gonna explain why, but do you think that there is or there isn't, or do you want me to explain what I mean exactly?
Yeah, explain it.
Okay, so like, what I mean by like a scale is like anything that you go through in like your relationship could be mild to you, but it could be severe to me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So do you think that there's an actual scale?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
What about you? Do you Capo?
No.
No.
It's,
Okay. I
it is
agree.
what it,
Okay,
each
perfect.
one.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So then, okay, I agree. I believe that there's no scale in relationship trauma. But I do believe, which is kind of going to be obvious when we talk about it, but I do believe that there are levels to trauma in a relationship.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Yeah,
You agree
I
with that? Like there's different things that can happen in a relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I think within those levels, possibly, there could be a scale. Possibly. I'm not saying like 100%. Like,
I see
there
it.
possibly there could be a scale. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, okay, so say like, okay, let's just, I know we're gonna talk about everything, but like, say like there's like abuse, but then there's like, there's certain types of abuse, and it can be like mild, or it could be like, you know what I mean? So I think within levels of those traumas, there's a scale, possibly, not 100%. Saying that there is. I'm just saying like possibly there is.
Right.
So, Capo.
Are we jumping in? You ready?
Let's talk about it.
Are we diving in here?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Episode 2 coming at you.
Real fast. So, I do want to ask you first, Capo, because you haven't necessarily had a serious relationship. If at all. Let's say if at all. So, I do want to ask you, though, first. Because it could be like some kind of heartbreak or anything to you, or some kind of sadness to you, or anything that you've experienced with women. Can you tell me anything that not it wouldn't necessarily be trauma, but I just want to hear like what could have broken your heart, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, there was definitely
You've experienced something.
Yeah, no trauma though.
Yeah.
No trauma.
Okay, you've experienced something. Okay.
But there was sadness
Definitely sadness. Okay.
and heartbreak involved, but not traumatic. Like I've known some people to go through.
Okay. Oh.
No, just anyone that I've heard all over, and you just see everything.
Okay.
So no.
Please don't do it. We're gonna center this episode around me.
No, I said not just you.
Okay. Let me ask Emily for Capo goes on his little, you've definitely experienced heartbreak.
Yes.
Okay. Traumatizing heartbreak. I know Capo hasn't experienced any traumatizing heartbreak, but has there been any traumatizing heartbreak?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
shaped me to who I am today.
Ah,
And What I
okay.
expect from love, and how you learn your worth, and you basically the traumatic events is what makes you learn and be who you are and what to expect.
A lot of people say that you should forget the past. I don't believe in that.
No, I don't.
I definitely think that I won't necessarily say the past should define your future, but it can definitely shape your future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can definitely shape your future. I definitely believe that. And a lot of people always go back and forth on stuff, but I definitely feel like you cannot forget your past ever.
Right.
Even if you weren't a great person in your past, you learn. Even if you've been through traumatic experiences, you learn from them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, your past definitely influences your future.
Oh, definitely. It has to. That makes you who you are.
And that
that's
means
how you
that
grow.
you've actually learned.
That's how you grow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly
how you grow.
Word of the day: grow. Put it down. Noted. Noted. Growth. Noted. Put it down. The pad. Noted.
Growth, just like Sucka for Love podcast, stock growing. Okay, no, that was.
Capo is wild. We can't let. Sometimes we gotta put Capo back in the cage. Nah, I'm just playing. You good?
Nah, we're
good. Nah, but so like I did say, because we did talk before this. Trauma is so vague and so broad and so like abundant. It's so out there in the world. Like it could be anything. But on here, we're talking about like relationship trauma. So we can narrow it down to what we think like the most traumatic thing is. What you would think it is. We can like list what you would think it is. Like what's some traumatizing things that can happen in a relationship? And it could be mild or severe. And then we'll get into those things.
Catching your significant other cheating in the act.
Okay, cheating.
No, that's traumatic though. Catching them in the act.
In the act.
Catching
them in the act.
That's traumatic. Not just hearing about it.
We are going to talk about cheating like throughout this series of podcasts. So we don't want to necessarily dive too much into cheating. So
that's traumatic.
Yeah, that can be
act,
traumatic.
though.
In the act. Okay, catch it. Okay, cheating in the act. Okay.
I think manipulation is traumatic.
Manipulation can definitely be traumatic. Yeah. I think negligence.
Yeah.
Is definitely traumatic. And this obvious one.
Lying.
I think that comes within it comes within negligence because not caring about someone else's feelings and you're just being selfish. I think probably the biggest one is probably some form of abuse. Because I think that's probably the top traumatic thing that anyone can go through because like verbal can turn to physical and that's just like out of this world.
Emotional.
Out of this world. So let's talk about, I don't want to dive too much into cheating because, we can talk about, like, we can make a whole episode on cheating.
No,
Or you
yeah,
said
that's just pretty
cheating.
traumatic. Catching them in the act.
You
I
said
think.
in the act.
I never caught anyone, but that would be.
You want to talk about that or?
But I also think like even not catching them in the act, because then you lose your trust, and then once you lose your trust, then that's traumatic, and a lot of people bring it into their new relationships without even knowing it.
If I had to choose, and this is a really dumb thought.
Oh,
if I had to choose what form I'd rather be involved in cheating, I would rather find out through like a text or her telling me, not a text, but like her telling me.
God, no, never in
Like her
text.
telling me, like
People
verbally.
People who do things over text.
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
That's traumatic.
Wait, let him finish.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Verbally. Over like seeing it in person would be traumatic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, that'd be insane. So if I had to choose between the two, verbally or face to face, whatever you want to call it, I'd rather find out that way over walking in and my chick's just. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into detail, but yeah.
Yep.
Because then I got to see that forever.
I get what you're saying, but I think in this sense, what we're talking about is it's happened, and we're talking about what is actually traumatized you.
Well, that could mess you up for the long foreseeable future. You know.
No, I totally get that, but I want to talk about like things that have happened that can be traumatizing. That because I mean, obviously you
that have happened to us.
We can't talk about that.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about what happened to you two.
Wow.
We're getting into it.
Let's specify more.
Yeah, I know, right? Direct with it. So like I said, there's levels, I believe, in being, in things that happen in your relationship that are traumatizing, and I think that there's possibly scales within those levels. Because like I said, something could be mildly traumatizing to you, but that could kill me, destroy me.
I also think it depends on what type of person you are.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely does depend on the person itself as well, because some people may just not give a fuck.
Yeah, some people are stronger than others. Some don't really care.
That kind of irks me. Stronger than others. Like I don't believe that. I think people just try to ignore it as long as they can, and then it hurts them in different ways, and they think that they're strong, but something is always going to affect someone in some
I'm gonna disagree with you on that one, because I think some people really just figure it out in a different way and move on. I really think so. There are people out there
don't affect people the way that you think it would, and they just like how Edward said, some people know how to figure it out in a healthier way or in a faster way, and that's just the way that their mind works, and they're stronger, and they're just like, you know what, let me get it to moving, and boom, let's go.
I'm not gonna say I disagree, but
maybe you could find better words to describe it. Maybe it's not better or healthier, but it's just a way where they just get through it. I mean,
I'm not saying it's not possible. I just feel like it just may affect them in some way. You know what I mean? Because I'm not saying there aren't strong people out there. You know what I mean? Maybe they just project it in a different type of way. Because like, okay, so say like this. So like they say like there's men who like go through certain things, or even women who go through certain things, and they sit there and they project that they're okay, but they don't give a fuck. But in their actions and what they're doing is the results of what happened to them. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say, for instance, like, I'm just throwing this out there because I've just seen it and experienced it. So I'm gonna speak from my experience before. Like, there are like women who treat me poorly, and I'm not necessarily projecting that, but in my actions, I am like, I'm doing certain things that where I'm just like, okay, well, women treated me a certain way. Like, okay, that hurt me. Like, now I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm treating women a certain type of way, not necessarily bad, but that's how that experience affected me. And that's how I'm projecting it. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying like necessarily someone's like showing that they're traumatized or that they're hurt, but in some sort of way, it affected them. That's what I'm saying. You can sit there and like, you can be like, oh, fuck, like, Tyler just went through fucking like a horrible breakup or whatever, but then like I'm showing that I'm okay, but I'm doing other things that show otherwise. I'm not necessarily showing that I'm traumatized or hurt or sad or anything. Like, you see me smiling or I'm doing whatever, but in my actions and other things that I'm doing, you can be like, why is he acting that way? You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone's strong. It's just, they're just projecting it a different way.
But there's people that don't do that. Like, there's people that will be able to actually project what they're feeling. And I mean, we're not one to say that we don't know how they're feeling.
Yeah, we don't. But to sit there and say that someone necessarily is that strong and doesn't truly give a fuck, I guess.
Oh, it doesn't mean they don't. You can't say they're not that strong because
Right.
we don't know them.
We don't.
But I do think that some people are stronger. Doesn't necessarily mean they don't give a fuck. Of course, I mean, if trauma is always going to affect somebody. You know, trauma is always going to...
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not necessarily showing that it's trauma, but they're taking that trauma and projecting it in a different way.
But
you know what I mean?
I think just people know how to do it in a healthier manner. I think that's probably...
I would hope that they would.
That's probably what makes them stronger, being able to process it and, you know, project it in a healthy manner.
I would hope so.
So, Tempest, let's. I think it's time now. So, we went through a lot of, opinions and things that we think are trauma and traumatic.
Yeah.
Let's ask you what has brought you to this point to discuss traumatic experiences in a relationship.
Yikes.
What has brought me to this point to discuss it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I would bring up, but you wanted to talk about this, so I want to ask.
It's the Sucka podcast. Episode 1 is out right now. If you haven't heard already, what is love? Plug. No,
that's a good plug.
What has brought me to? Well,
Life.
shit, yeah, life. I mean, it was going to be talked about eventually, and it just happened to be this episode, but. Life, like Emily said, life brings you to this point. Not everyone's life. Some people don't even date until, because we're talking again.
Some people reach Edward's age.
Again, if you get lost, we're talking about relationship trauma, so obviously relationships. But some people don't even date at this point, and some people date a lot at this point, and but life, like Emily said, life. To my point, you're asking me to what has brought me to whatever point in life that I'm at.
Yeah, so let's dive deep. Take us back to before you had that traumatic relationship experience. No name dropping, you know how it goes.
Oh yeah, no name dropping.
It's always
Emily.
just
no name dropping.
No names at all.
Emily. No name dropping.
I know the rule. I listened to episode 1.
Okay. So we'll start off with Tempest.
Ask me specifically. Because you got to ask me specifically, because you know me.
What traumatic relationship experience have you been through without explaining who it is? How did it go? What?
Like my worst, or like what are you asking?
What, you have more than one? Like you have more than one traumatic relationship experience? Is that what we're getting at here?
Unfortunately.
Okay. I guess
it's
we've
not
never,
funny, but unfortunately, yeah, there's been a few.
As close as friends as we are, I didn't know there were multiple ones, but that go under
We'll
traumatic.
talk about it after, but you'll remember. I'll never forget the day we were standing outside of Hugo's house, and I told you what happened after my third girlfriend, and. After, I'll remind you. After.
No name dropping.
Yeah.
Well, you can say his
girl.
name.
I said third. Third girl.
But you could say Hugo. Yeah.
I said Hugo's house.
Hugo. He's the man.
Hugo.
Big dog.
Hugo. Shout out, big dog.
Shout out, big dog.
I'll tell you. I tell you the story like every time, and then you remember it after. But I'll
I can't recall it right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay, so then give me your.
Oh God.
Ooh. Well, if there's multiple, I'm going right in. Give me the worst. Take me back.
The worst?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And how it affects you now. But take me back to before, how it started. I want to know the good stuff about the relationship.
Okay. The good stuff about the
First,
relationship?
go in. I mean, if you don't mind going into a little bit of the good stuff.
Like, you want to know the good stuff about my relationship? Like.
Yeah, about the one that was the worst traumatic experience.
So how that relationship
started.
Okay.
Because we have to get to the point of bad, and it always started good. So let's hear the good first. Let's get some joy.
The good. You know what's weird? I'm going to just side note. It seems like the good can always outweigh the bad, but the bad is always the forefront of things. Isn't that crazy?
That's because
the crazy.
Bad is always the most traumatic to some people.
Yeah, it can be.
And it just foreshadows all the good.
Yeah, it can. That's true.
Is there good trauma or is it good something else? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is trauma just associated with bad?
That's a good question.
Or
That's a good question. Okay, let's dive into that. That's a great question.
Before we dive into your experience?
Yes. Oh God.
Okay, so
I thought I was gonna get away with that one for a second, Emily.
Here we go.
I thought I was gonna get away.
We'll ask, what
Yeah.
is good trauma, if that's a thing, or is it like good something else?
I think, and you guys can agree or disagree on this, but I think at the time you don't know it's good trauma, because I have learned that you kind of do need to go through certain heartbreaks. Certain heartbreaks you need to go through to learn from things. Like
and to learn about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like on the last episode when we were talking about like, when I felt like I was in love, like I thought I was in love in certain relationships until I got to the relationship where I actually was in love, and those other relationships, you know, like that shit was, the shit that happened was traumatizing, but it, in a sense, it sucks. It's gonna hurt. Like I remember reading there's some, I know he's gonna go on a tangent when I mention social media,
That's another episode.
Yeah, we're gonna do social media another day.
Okay, but there are some good things on social media. Like I said, I told you I'm on the fence about it. But a quote where I read where it was like, even in like toxic relationships, it's hard to detach yourself from that, because at some point in time that person was amazing to you and you were amazing to that person. At some point in time, the whole relationship wasn't toxic.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you say that, when you ask, is there good trauma? Like, in a sense, yes, you're going to get hurt and it's going to suck. But you learn from that, and you realize after the fact that, okay, I had to go through that. I had to deal with that, because I'm realizing like it wasn't exactly what it was or what you thought it was. Like I said, I thought I was in love with someone, but then I fell in love with this person. I was like, okay, well, that shit wasn't real. You know, I wasn't really in love, you know? So at the time, it's traumatizing and it hurt. But then when you look back on it and reflect, when you're going through good times with someone else, then you realize, okay, you know what, like that trauma, or, you know, that sadness, that heartbreak, that depression, whatever, it sucked. But when you reflect, you realize I needed to go through that, because like you're not completely 100% who you are. That relationship wasn't what you really thought it was, you know, et cetera, that all that comes with it. So when you ask, is there good trauma? In a sense, yes, there is. It sucks. It's going to hurt like hell, but I can definitely agree that there's good trauma.
I think I would say there's good trauma, but I would probably relabel it to be like learned trauma, like something that you can learn from. Not necessarily good trauma, but like, you know, of course we're learning from it. We're gaining knowledge, experience, and all of that from that trauma.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've loved this quote since I don't know when the first time I saw it, but it's like I don't lose, I learn.
Yep.
I love
That's a great quote.
I love that quote. I forgot where I saw it. I don't know how long ago I saw it, but I was like, you know what? That's just facts.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're really fucking losing, that would suck. That would hurt.
Unless you're Tyler.
Yo, fucking, I know, right?
Ooh, it's all good. It's all love here. All love here. That is a great quote, though. That is something.
a really great
It's
quote.
a really good quote. When I saw it, I was like, you know what? That's just facts. You know,
If you learn,
because even if it is a loss, you take it and you be like, you know what? Last night I took it, but tonight I bounced. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
okay,
it's
don't
like,
get us copyrights, bro.
you know what I'm saying? No, 15 seconds. You get 15 seconds, I think. You get 15 seconds. But yeah. So like I said, I think that was a great question. Honestly, I think in a sense there is good trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna, like, it may hurt like hell.
Yep.
But then in the end, when you start experiencing more things, like, especially if you're young, you know, I mean, you know, time is of the essence. The time is precious, especially more nowadays, you know, so be blessed for every day. But, you know, you make it through your days. You make it through your days and you get to experience more. You get to learn, big word, learn, growth. You get to learn more from what you've been through. Then you can definitely realize that that's good trauma, for sure.
Right.
Okay. That was a nice answer. that was some good conversation right there. So then I haven't forgot though. We're going back to Tempest. Oh, wait. We'll go to Emily. Yeah, let's start off. We'll switch, back and forth. So we'll keep them on edge, seeing what you got to hear. But let's go to Emily real quick.
What's Emily got to say?
What's the question?
Why don't you take us back to your beginning of? Okay, give us your most traumatic. How many traumatic love experiences do you have? Actually, let me ask that. That seems like a better question to start off with.
I've only
That's a great question. Okay, I think we got to figure out.
You have multiple, so does
multiple,
Emily have
but
one?
I have one.
Emily has one, so let's hear Emily's.
I have one.
Well, thanks, guys.
I'm sorry. No, I have
No
one.
judging here, not a bad
But
thing.
it gives you perspective. Three different people.
Yeah.
Three different
One,
perspectives. We have 0, 1, and
and
multiple.
multiple. A few.
No, we're good.
Yeah, I want to say I just have one. Honestly, just
So
one.
take
but-
us, if you want, how it started. Let's hear the good first. I think that.
Honestly, it was just, those high school little lovey-dovey relationships where you think you're in love and, you're going to be with them forever. And
the
so,
last episode, remember we said about high school
that's one of those. But it was just one of those. So, you swear you're going to be with that person for the rest of your life. And then.
Let me ask something real quick, because it was in our last episode, but now you're here. I want to ask you.
Yeah.
And you went through one. Sorry to interject, my bad. But do you believe in high school relationships?
Like for life?
Not for.
Or
not
what
for,
do you mean?
but,
What do you mean by that
was that the
question?
exact question?
You're talking. Oh, I remember how Edward said that people.
We don't agree with high school relationships.
To move on
so
forever.
do you? So since you've been through one, because I haven't been through one, he hasn't been.
Well, it's like the people people grow. So from high school to after college, you're two totally different people, most likely.
Episode 1, motherfucker.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Plug. No, ow, damn.
Yeah.
Episode 1 out now. Sucka for Love podcast.
I remember. So being in a relationship since high school and then just growing up together, right? And not being with anybody else.
Do you believe in high school relationships now that you've been in one?
I believe in them, but think
Of course, I believe in them.
But do you agree with them?
What do you mean by agree though?
Because I don't remember the exact question.
I do.
It was like
that they were with their high school sweetheart for the rest of their lives. Like that's the only person they've been with.
I think. I don't remember the exact question. I think it was, do we like high school relationships? Let's just say that.
I guess we'll say it's because it's hard
do
to.
Do you like high school relationships?
I mean, I like them because you learn a lot from them. Like how else are you gonna be like this little teenager and not experience, even if it's tiny little heartbreaks, you experience caring, you experience what you think is love, affection. So you learn. I like them.
I like to learn. It's definitely a learning experience.
Yeah.
Learning. Okay.
That's what our point.
I can't disagree with that.
Our main point was I think it's a lot more of a learning experience than two people being in love.
Yeah.
Like two people, they might feel like they're in love. Okay, I don't want to get off on a whole nother
Episode
topic.
1.
Episode 1.
You heard episode 1. That's all you gotta do is go back to episode 1.
Anyways, all right, Emily, continue with your story.
Basically, I was in a little high school relationship. I thought that was,
This is your traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was gonna be the.
That's young.
Yeah, I was young.
Yeah.
I was.
Age
15.
is nothing but a number.
I was 15.
You were a damn freshman, sophomore.
No, I was a junior.
There's no way.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
you could be turning 6.
I was going on
you could be
16.
16 soon.
I was going on 16.
You know what? I forgot.
You're
I was
old.
Born, I was.
You're old.
You're a late one.
You're
in that
I'm
year.
December baby. So I was a year older than everybody.
So I was a junior, and I was a junior in high school. I was going on 16. I was with him until I was 22, maybe.
7 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Caught
But
up.
it was, one of those things where you swear, you're in love, and one person, gives more than the other, and you swear this is what it is, and one person lost focus and found it somewhere else, and bada bing, bada boom.
So what was what was good about going through that experience though? Because you dated so young.
Oh, definitely.
So you dated so young. So we want to know what was good, and then what made it go to being traumatizing?
I think honestly, just learning as a teenager into an adult, learning your worth. I definitely
Not what you learned, like what was good about
what
it
was
for
good.
you. Like, what did you benefit from that relationship? I guess you could say, because we want to talk about the good and then how it turned traumatic for you. Because the whole point is like, you know what I mean? So like, what did you, not necessarily what you benefited from it, but what was good about that relationship for you and your learning experience, I guess you could say. But what was good in that relationship and then when did it turn into something that changed your life? Because when you get like if people don't, I get it, yeah. So if people don't understand what being traumatized is, something that traumatizes you changes your life.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like the fork in it's not like it's okay, that's a horrible analogy. A fork, forget I said that. Because a fork in the road is a choice. Yeah. But
okay, I get it. Okay. Okay, so the good part honestly is, the good part was a lot of things. I always, I would always, when I was younger, I felt loved. I felt cared for. I felt
by this person.
Okay. I felt secure. I felt, I felt like I was in love. I literally felt like I was the center of their attention, their world, their everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then when did it go from being on top of the world to where it just came off like, well, because like I said, traumatizing things is like where your life can change completely. Yeah. So where did it come crashing down?
So it came crashing down when he started working at a different job, and he met somebody that was older than me, and that would be able to provide things that I couldn't.
For him?
For him.
Okay.
And then...
You said they were older than him.
They were older than both of us.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whoa.
They were older than both
Age
of us.
really ain't nothing but a number.
Wait.
Yeah.
So, wow.
And it was hidden from me. It was getting done behind my back, and it was lied about. And yeah, it was a lot. It was actually.
So
a lot.
what was the?
Wait, how old were you?
At that time, I was 21, going on 22.
What was the traumatizing part for you?
I think the traumatizing part was the lying, the cheating, just the lying and the cheating and the manipulation. The manipulation, man, that was where I started to feel crazy.
Because you felt like
like I was making things up. I was crazy for trusting him even after I found out, and we tried to rekindle.
Because manipulation makes you delusional.
Yeah.
That's what happens, because they're basically trying to make you think that something's going on when it's actually not. Or something that isn't going on
when
it's actually going on. Yeah. It's both ways.
And they're like, why do you think like that? I would never do that to you. And they already did it.
Yeah, they try to take like control of the whole situation. That's
when
that's
basically
like.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I think that's what was the most traumatizing part.
Okay.
What did you learn from that?
Oh, that's where I learned my worth. I learned what is acceptable and what is not. I learned how to love myself. I learned... Big. Yeah, that was a big thing for me. The first couple of months, I was going crazy. I literally couldn't love myself. I was just spending all the money in the world, going out, drinking.
I'm still learning to do that.
It's hard. It's really, really hard.
Loving yourself is so hard.
Especially when you're with somebody for so long and they're literally your person and you are like attached to the hip, and then you have to learn how to... You become codependent without even trying. Yes. You have to detach and you have to grow by yourself.
You have to figure out how to live for you again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
How long did it take you after that experience happened to even think about dating again?
Oof, I'm not gonna lie.
So it happened when you were what, 21, right?
Yeah, 21,
okay.
22.
22,
yeah.
Okay.
Like to seriously start dating and settle down and be in a real relationship and take it serious,
or just dating. Just dating. Like you were like I'm going to go on a date, or I'm gonna,
It took me a year, maybe a little bit more.
In between that, do you have if you want to let us know, what did you do in that year? Did you just like not even focus on guys? Did you go out,
basically.
party?
Yeah,
she just
I
like
was in this like
try to distract yourself.
Yeah, I was in like
Yeah.
this weird depressive stage where like I
Yeah.
would stay home or I would just fucking splurge or I would just spend money. I would go out
Yes.
drinking. I would go out with my girl. I was just in and out.
And you thought that they were distractions, air quotes, distractions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never realized until I got older and like really started thinking about it. And I would look back and I'd be like, damn, that poor little girl was depressed.
So
that little girl went through a lot.
How old were you when you were like, I'm gonna date. I'm ready.
I was 23 and a half ish, 24.
So that's about
Because-
it's about 2 years.
yeah.
Yeah, about 2 years. Okay.
Yeah. It was like a year and a half maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good time. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know.
Well,
but
there's no
that's-
timetable or anything.
Yeah, there's no
There's no
timetable,
guidelines
but
for
you know,
anything,
some
that's-
people. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Some people wait years, you know, and
Yeah, and it's crazy because
like, you got to get
even-
back out. In my opinion, you got to get back out there
and
sometimes.
it's crazy because even
Don't
when
you dare start. We talked about the fish in the sea. We
Hey,
talked about this.
Hey, I have
No.
something
You
to say
cannot
about
fucking
that.
go.
I have something to say
I'm
about
not-
that.
You cannot. So
I'm not
I did
saying-
see a video where there. If
Okay,
you're,
no,
I did see a
stop it.
video. I did see a
No.
video. Hold on. Let me finish this thought. I did see
saw
a
you
video.
posted
About the.
Uh-huh.
I did see a video. I posted it on my
He said,
Instagram
this
story.
is my fish.
I saw a video. Okay, not that one. There was another. I probably didn't post it then, but there's another video where a guy was like, "Oh, well, I was dating women." Like if you're, so I can agree with that line.
I'm just saying dating, like not like
If
finding
you're
the
out,
fish.
I can.
Not finding
Okay,
your
so I
fish,
can.
just a date, bro.
I can agree with that line now. I take back what I said on the first episode. I still don't like the line. The line is still stupid to me when you break up with someone. So, but if you're just out there casually dating, then yes. There's other fish in the fucking sea, okay?
Just going out, having a beer,
whatever,
with Chelsea
there's
or
other
whatever,
fish
you
in the
know, any
sea
girl
if
you
wanna
want,
fucking
Maria,
casually date.
whatever.
But we were talking in a sense of breaking up, so just don't forget that, okay? So, anyway, you were gonna say something?
Yeah. Where were we? Timeline. So timeline. So even though I started dating, I wasn't really looking to like settle down. This is the love of my life. This is who I'm gonna marry. I
You
was
just
not
wanted
looking
company,
for that.
good company.
Yeah.
Good company, yeah.
And
Okay.
even then, like I still didn't choose the right person, and it didn't happen.
I think at first you're probably not because
Yeah,
you're just
'cause-
out there.
And I feel like
you're just
kinda
ass out. You're just ass out. Yeah, you're just
on
ass
your
out.
tippy
Yeah.
toes. Like,
You're
should
just
I be
like,
here? Should I not?
You cute. Let's. What's up?
Yeah.
You know,
and
yeah.
then later on, and then that's how I found my person today. Just ended up.
Awkward pause. No, I'm just kidding.
That's
Drew
our boy.
Paco's in the building. Drew Paco, come say what's up to the people.
DJ Drew Paco,
say
come
what's up
in
to the
here.
people. Come say hi. Say, Drew Paco, what's good?
Hi, what up, everybody? How's it going? This is Drew Paco.
Okay.
That's my boy.
Wow.
He's the man.
But,
He's the man. He's sitting in on this.
Yeah. So.
He'll be a guest one day, just not yet.
Oh God. No, I'm just kidding. No, we
Talking
love
about
Drew
his
Paco.
traumatic experience.
Drew Paco, what is your traumatic experience? Nice.
You don't got enough time.
For real. God, no.
Damn.
I was there. I was kidding.
That'll be on the Sucka for Love movie.
The documentary, The Lost Files, the shit we didn't want to talk about, the shit that didn't deserve the surface.
Anyways, he's here chilling. He's the man.
Hey, well, no,
DJ
we
Drew
love-
Paco.
we love AP.
Love him.
But
All right, so
oh God,
she 2.5 years.
2 years.
2
A
years.
little less than 2 years.
A little less than 2 years.
A little less than 2 years.
She
Started
learned
dating,
now.
It didn't work. Couple of months of dating, it didn't work, and
Yeah.
Did you was Tinder around then? I don't even know when.
I never ever went
on
on
a dating
Tinder,
app?
on a dating app, nothing.
Yeah,
ever.
side note, dating apps suck for me. I'm done with them. I've been done with them for a while. It just
Really?
doesn't. I just no.
Matching?
man.
I mean, you know what it is, real quick. You know, you can match with them, and I've matched with some girls, but you'll talk for like a day or two and then nothing. And I'm just like,
Because it really is people just wanting to.
yeah, it's weird. So
hook up,
I don't have any dating apps.
Well, no,
that's it.
we have a. Is his current girlfriend David Dang? I think his current girlfriend is who he found on Tinder. Maybe
Well,
I could be
it,
wrong.
it works
dropping
for.
names?
I'm not saying it doesn't work.
We
It's just
can
me.
drop-
No.
we're in our lives.
Oh, okay.
We can drop a name, but not in like our loud. You know what I'm saying? Like
David Dang's a homie, by the way.
David Dang's a homie, by the way.
But anyways,
Shout out David Dang.
it works for people. I know people who it
Yeah.
worked for successfully.
Yeah.
But me,
It worked
just
for me and Andrew.
I
But
think
some people, wow,
I'm just
okay.
I think
Because
it
of
worked
knowing each other
for
since
me.
we were, like born, but
It's
whatever.
literally- It's literally never worked for me. Like I'll be
No,
honest, it's
I
never
think-
worked for me.
I think if you're gonna go on the app, you have to expect certain things because it's just like you have to know what you're gonna do on that.
You gotta
app.
put the right filters.
Yeah. No. Okay. No. I just agreed with you, and that was fucking completely wrong. You have to. You have to. I don't know how to explain that.
I'm done with it. I don't care what you have to do. I'm just
Yeah,
done
but
with
no,
it.
back to it. I've never ever signed up for dating apps. That just wasn't my thing. I don't know. I just wasn't into that.
Okay.
And then even when I found my person, I wasn't even looking.
That's how it kind of happens.
That's how
I
it
feel
should
like.
happen, actually.
Yeah,
That's
like
how it
both of
should
us
happen.
weren't looking. It was just casual, and then
Sounds
it
so
happened.
cliche, but that's
It- yeah, it
that's
really,
really how
really
it happens.
does.
Most times, not all the time, but
Yeah.
most times,
I'll
or a
take
lot
it.
of the times
I'll
that I
take-
know.
I'll take a little credit for it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's so funny because when people are like, "How did you guys meet?" I'm like, "It's so funny." Da, 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 you know.
We
It
met
is
at
pretty
Walmart
funny.
grocery shopping on a Sunday morning.
I'm done. Wait, what? You're so
Nothing.
No, but
Walmart.
so
I met him at
manipulation.
Target.
Wow. Okay.
Target.
In the
So-
ice cream section.
You guys are wild. So manipulation is what traumatized you, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
manipulation,
And that whole
lying,
story, if
cheating,
anyone,
yeah.
manipulation is what traumatized her.
Yeah.
So
And the lying and the cheating.
yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with
Yeah.
you, but
Those
I mean,
are the three. Those are the
those-
three.
lying would probably fall under manipulation, right? Or in a sense, that's all under negligence, technically, right? Would it be? 'Cause, I mean, when you would- I mean-
it's really when you're like not paying attention and not giving. You're just being. I guess because I was gonna say selfless, but
Because you could, because like
I mean
being
selfish,
selfish.
not selfless. Sorry.
Being selfish is definitely under negligence because you're just not caring about the other person at all.
Yeah, you're
basically.
just worried about yourself.
So yeah, so
Yeah, I guess lying would fall under negligence because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, we'll talk about cheating in another episode. We don't want to necessarily talk about cheating right
Let's
now.
not.
You said let's not.
Let's not.
Capo
You know what? I want to hear Eddie's perspective, Mister,
on
relationship trauma. And I know he's never been through it, but I want to know what he thinks, maybe like what he thought was trauma.
to him
Yeah.
or
Yeah, to him.
did you experience it? Okay, so let's ask this then. Did you experience?
I'm an
something-
open book.
Oh God, with blank pages.
Okay, not a lot. Every other page is blank.
Wow.
I'm just playing. No, but
Every other page is blank.
see, I knew.
Even
but
or odd.
Odd numbers are blank.
so Capo, did you experience it? Okay, so maybe it could have been mild trauma
Yeah.
then. Because like some people don't even recognize trauma.
Right.
We can agree with that, right? Like some people don't even recognize that they have been through something, that had changed their life. Some people don't even recognize when they're sad.
Regardless if it was like significant or not.
Like I said, that's why I said there's no true scale to
Right.
trauma. So like, was there something that you went through that just like changed you possibly?
Yeah, that was significant to you.
Like it mattered to you. Because trauma matters.
Yep.
And people, like I said, people just don't recognize it sometimes. And
Oh, well, okay. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely.
dirt.
Gritty.
We taking deep. There it is.
Yeah, there was a time where it was after college. There was a chick that I was seeing. We weren't never official though. We were, so.
But you wanted it to be.
Yeah, I think we both did, but I just think she was in a different. She was young, younger than me, not young, but she was younger than me by a couple of years, and I just think she didn't know what she wanted, because I.
But you knew. You wanted to
honestly,
be
I
with
don't
her.
think I knew what I really wanted. I was
But
young
in that
too.
moment, you knew what you
In that
wanted.
moment, I wanted her.
Okay.
But like in reality, I was only 24,
Yeah.
23, 24. She was 21. So,
Oh, really?
we were both young. Like now that I'm
Okay.
the age I'm at now at 30, Just turned 30.
God bless. For real.
It seems like, yeah, definitely at 23. No, I at the time, though, yes, I wanted her, and then it was just
Don't
like,
minimize it.
yeah, at 23, I wanted her, but I just think she didn't know what she wanted. She didn't at certain times. She did, certain times she did. That's what her age was. You know,
that,
she was young.
Like, because what I'm basically taking from that is like you actually wanted something, and then it
I would
didn't
have
happen.
taken something if it happened. Yeah, I
But
wanted
it didn't
something.
happen, and then that
No, it didn't.
and then it changed you, or it hurt you.
Oh, it hurt me for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And then,
that could be, like I said, there's no true scale.
It doesn't hurt me now, but it sucks thinking. I mean, back then it was like,
like
it
even
was
severe,
like
even
even-
severe trauma may not hurt you now necessarily, but but it like we said, it depends on the person. It depends on what it is. It depends on how you take it. It depends.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like I said, there's like we've said in the beginning, there's no true scale.
Yeah.
So
And there's no timeline either.
there isn't. There's no timeline. There's nothing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. I don't think it was traumatic, but
hurt.
definitely it was like hurt.
You may
for
see her
sure.
picture 5 years from now, and you'd be like, "Fuck, I'm
"Damn,
sad." Like,
that's
damn,
the girl,
like,
that's the girl.
fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we were talking about in the last episode. Like, there's no true timeline
Yeah.
for like anything that you've gone through. Like, if you feel, like we said, God forbid you're sad for 5 years, but if you're sad for 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, there's nothing you can do about how you feel necessarily.
Yeah, no, it was. That was probably the worst. You know, it was not traumatic, but it was definitely hurtful. I was hurt for sure for
Okay, so you
a little bit. Yeah.
It could have been traumatic.
I mean, I don't know.
It was
maybe.
probably traumatic
I think.
in the moment.
in
Just
the
I think-
because so
yeah.
inexperienced.
I mean, I
and-
think there are like more traumatic experiences
Yeah.
that I'm gonna
Because
go
think
through
about
in my
okay, so
life.
think about it like this. It could
Over
have been
that, like that's just
like relationship wise.
even.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
'Cause,
yeah,
like-
I guess
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
relationship-wise.
hopefully not, but I was just saying in life there are gonna be more traumatic experience. I'm gonna
Oh,
go through.
definitely.
Yeah.
But think about it like this, like that. Okay, so here's where
Hopefully, I'm done with those experiences when I was 23, because now I'm 30. I don't want to go through that again.
No,
But-
I hear you.
But think about it like this. That could be your trauma because like that was the time you were finally ready to settle down, and then she wasn't, and then after that you were like, you know what? Now I'm not ready to settle down with
Yeah.
fucking anyone until they tell me they're ready to settle down. That could be your
That could've-
trauma.
Yeah, that could have been that.
That
one
can literally
moment.
be your trauma. It can. If you think about it, it meant like we said, there's
No,
no
but,
true
okay.
scale. I will reiterate it.
Edwin said,
Here.
no,
I'll keep
no.
saying it. I'll keep saying it. There's no true scale. That could have been your trauma.
Without saying a name, though, I could say that sounded really good until I just thought about this other woman
Oh my god.
Oh, he
that
said,
she was
"What?"
ready to settle down and I wasn't.
Okay, I know.
So it kind of contradicts when you said, yeah,
I know who this person is.
yeah,
No, mom.
yeah, you probably do.
Sorry,
But,
I'm disrespecting you.
Do I?
I'm just saying
I
it
don't
goes
think so.
against.
No.
No, she does. No, Emily
do?
does. Yeah,
Maybe
for sure.
Like,
I
yeah,
do.
Maybe,
Emily
possibly.
knows. But it contradicts because you're saying that I would be ready until she was, and she was, and I wasn't. I called it off.
But a lot of
so-
things came with that.
What do you mean?
I'm probably thinking about the wrong person now.
Yeah,
Well,
it seems
okay,
like
I'll
it.
drop a name then. That
No.
I'll drop.
Whoa,
Oh
whoa.
no, not a name. I'll drop a name of a place where I met this person
Okay.
because you'll know by that.
Okay.
Dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. So you were thinking about someone else. Yeah.
You were thinking
No.
about the
Oh,
first
because that person was ready to settle down
He
too.
was thinking about the first person.
That person was ready to settle down too.
No. No. He was thinking about the person after dogs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Person after dogs.
Yeah.
This
You
the
were thinking
person
about
after
the
dogs?
person that I knew
Okay.
forever.
Okay.
Middle school.
specifics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Between that was the
You
girl.
ruined my wedding, you son of a bitch!
No, I'm just
You
saying.
ruined my wedding.
She would have been down and
You
ready.
ruined my wedding
and
planning. You know that?
Okay, let him. Speak.
I'm sorry. I
I'm
love
just
that word.
saying that that not to like go get clash with you, but that contradicts that part of like, I just it wasn't that.
No, but that's
She
why
was ready
yeah.
and I wasn't.
Yeah,
on the
that's what I'm saying.
second
That's where, in what happened with you before with the other girl. That's what traumatized you in a sense, and that's your traumatizing moment in your life because you wanted to settle down and she didn't,
That
and
was
now
that key moment.
yeah, and then like when it comes along and then someone finally wants to settle down with you, you're like,
No.
oh, no, because
Because that
you're
21-year-old.
yeah, because you're going back to that.
I don't.
You know,
I mean, I
we
should have
do
said
things
yes.
subconsciously. We do things subconsciously.
Yeah,
So
for
subconsciously,
sure.
you probably was like, you know what, like I'm definitely not. But yeah, Sheesh.
It might have been more. Oh no, I'm not gonna.
We
go
just
there.
unlocked
Okay.
a memory for Edward.
Yeah, I dug deep for those two.
We dug deep
those
for
two
that.
stories.
Yeah.
Those haven't been talked about in a long time.
So in all this,
on episode 2.
All
right, the next episode
in this
has
talk,
to.
we unlocked your traumatizing moment.
And Edward didn't even know.
Yeah.
The next episode has to be happy.
Recognize it.
We cannot have another episode like this.
He's like, don't unlock my trauma.
I need to be speaking on happy facts next time. But that was interesting. An interesting question. And
we didn't have to throw it to me. What's good?
we're gonna get to Tempest soon.
I actually have a question for Mr. Tempest over here.
Yeah, he hasn't even got into his yet.
What
We somehow.
if anything, did you learn from your trauma?
From my trauma, what did I learn?
Yeah.
Which time? I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, but I
don't know, like the most significant thing you learned. Let's say all your trauma put together.
I've learned, and I'm still learning. I won't even say unfortunately, but because you can't be unfortunate that you're still learning. But I've learned that you do have to put yourself first at times. Like I said on the last episode, I'm learning. I'm in my peace phase, because you can definitely, when you experience a lot of things, you can't be at war with yourself. When you go through these traumatizing things, you can definitely be at war with yourself a lot. Like, you will fight yourself a lot. I learned not to distract myself anymore, because no matter what, when you go home, those four walls will talk to you.
Yep,
and even when you don't want to, not even just doubts, just everything. Even if you're just like trying to go to sleep, and then those 4 walls will just reflect for you.
Just don't talk back.
You don't have to talk back. That's
kidding.
the crazy thing. No, I know what you're saying.
Sometimes that's the best part.
You don't have to talk back, and that's the crazy part about it. Is just no matter what, even if you're silent, those walls will talk to you. And I had learned that over the years. Like, no matter, like you said, you were trying to distract yourself for all those years, but it didn't work. You had to finally sit with yourself and
learn
go through those talks with the walls.
Yeah, and love yourself and
yeah,
feel yourself and every piece of you.
Yeah, and I'm learning still to do that, because we had our dinner, and I told you that's where I'm at right now in life. I'm just trying to learn to love myself more, because I was always putting people before me, So
I think that's like the hardest part. Like,
it definitely is, because like,
we're our own worst critics.
Oh yeah.
If we don't love ourselves, we're gonna be like, no, this is wrong with me. No, this is why I shouldn't be loved. No, this, But yeah, I get you.
But yeah, because like I said, you're out when you go through shit, you're literally at war with yourself, and there's and like you said, you're your own worst critic.
Yep.
So when you're your own worst critic and you're sitting there with those walls talking to you, they're not necessarily speaking down on you or being condescending, but they're telling you what should be at the forefront of your mindset. Yep. Because even if you don't want to think about something, they'll sit there and be like, you're not dealing with this right now, so we're gonna tell you what you need to deal with. And it's not funny,
you're
but
seriously not thinking about it.
Yeah, because we if you think about it, we long for those distractions because we don't want to talk to those walls.
Yeah. Or we don't want to sit there and actually try to work
we
through
don't.
our stuff.
We don't. And that's just the hardest part.
If you really think about it, when you sit there and work through your things, like, you're really reopening your wounds.
Yeah.
You're having to deal with them.
Definitely.
Just like when they say, people have childhood trauma and you have to go to a therapist and work on that. Okay, let's go do that. But then that's still traumatizing because you have to sit back and think about all the trauma and think about all the pain and all the sadness and all the self like guilt, like how we feel like we're at fault because of our trauma. You still have to sit there and think about it because you never did.
Yeah, that's why after a long time I stopped doing the distractions. I stopped going out to bars, stopped going out to like drink, and you go through your phases, of course.
Yeah, and
you're going to. That's how you learn, but it just
eventually it gets exhausting.
It does. And then when you sit there and realize that, you know what, fuck, I'm tired, and then you want to fucking go to sleep from all that, then guess what starts happening? Those walls start talking to you. And that is just the worst. It's not the worst feeling, but it does. It's definitely, like you said, it reopens wounds, and it's heartbreaking.
Yep.
And your trauma just keeps, coming back to you.
And then if you don't know how to heal from it, then like you can't talk about it. And like me, I can sit here today and say like, oh, I'm still hurt, but I'm not. I've healed from it. I became the person that I am. It's taught me how to be who I am. It's taught me how to love. It's taught me how to reciprocate and give love. It's taught me what type of girlfriend I want to be, what I do and don't want to do, what I do and don't want to accept.
Yes.
All of that. I'm like, in a way, I'm grateful for the experience and the trauma that I went through, because if not, I would not be able to sit here and have this normal conversation and be like, hey, my boyfriend, hey, Andrew, like, let's talk about this because this is bothering me. Yeah. Or, Andrew, I don't like that you did this or did that. Like, we can't sit there and have
Emily, you fucking name dropped.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. We already know who he is. I'm just saying. Yeah. Exactly.
To be the person that I am today, I wouldn't be able to be the girlfriend that I am today. I wouldn't be able to give this much love if I didn't, go through what I went through and not be like, if I was always on my tippy toes and afraid that everybody's gonna hurt me, and then I wouldn't be able to be who I am today. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like, shit happens for a reason.
The good trauma that Capo brought up.
Yeah, good trauma happens for a reason.
That's what it is. That's it all. You don't see it at first, but sometimes it ends up being good trauma. And if you can unlock that for everyone that's going to listen to this podcast.
It's not easy. We will say that. It's definitely not easy, because because even if you go through something that's not real, like we said, you can't detach yourself from what you've been through, because you had to go through it. Right. Or you went, not had to go through it, but you went through it and you have to deal with it.
And it might not be real like later on when you grow up, but in that moment it was
exactly.
Very,
it was the realest thing
real.
To you.
Yeah, like 10 years later you'd be like, oh, that shit was stupid. I can sit here and say, oh, that was stupid. But then 10 years later, here I am saying, you know what, it was stupid, but it helped me be who I am today.
You are, exactly. Lessons learned with growth. Yeah. So, all in all, what we learned tonight. What I can honestly say, Capo opened my eyes to good trauma. I mean, we knew that it was like lessons learned, but we never classified it as good trauma.
We never saw it in a positive light.
Yeah. So, y'all heard our first special guest, Emily.
And you guys heard a lot about trauma. I was gonna say my trauma, but
we did. You unlocked trauma for you. But I do want to say, Emily. Yes. Are we gonna see you on future episodes, or what's going on? Everyone, we would like to welcome our new co-host, Emily. Emily, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, Sucka for Love.
Sucka for Love podcast. As always, as I'd like to end it, we hope you guys enjoyed this. Wherever time zone you're in, don't forget, create laughs, spread positivity, show love, spread love, and don't forget to tell somebody you're glad they're here.
Eddie Cap out. Love y'all.
Emily, you out?
Emily's out.